What is going on YouTube? This is Acid Root. So I'm going to review the third album by rapper Killer Mike. Basically, this project is called I Pledge Allegiance to the Grind 2, and it came out in the summer of 2008. So the thing about this particular project is Killer Mike dropped like a hit mixtape back in like late 2005 or late 2006 and pitches like that. He did also drop the Pledge Allegiance to the Grind album in 2005 or 2006 as well. That one was a little bit more low key, but he did have a mixtape with some charting singles or something like that. Had a couple singles on there, one of which had I think 36 Mafia or something like that. Pretty good pitch to kind of have, uh, but in particular, Killer Mike had been dropping albums since 2003, and he was kind of an offshoot. And Killer Mike is kind of a good pal of Outkast, Andre 3000, and Big Boy, some of those type folks, and other folks from like the Purple Ribbon All Stars, some of those type folks in particular. So I definitely wanted to check out some of his music. He won a Grammy this year in 2024 with his hit album Michael, so I wanted to see what some of his stuff was about. I do at least remember a couple songs off this particular album from 2008. I don't remember his full blown because it's probably been like over a dozen years since I've listened to it, but I would have to say in particular this is a pretty highlighted type one. I would have to suppose it's definitely going to get like a classic and rave score. I wasn't expecting this. Just out of nowhere, this just kind of happened just bewilderingly that this is like a classic album here and just a real quality type Southern rap out. Just a real quality Southern rap album, I'd have to say. Is this particular the thing about this particular album is just the fact that Killer Mike has something to say. He's not like your typical kind of trap rapper or something like that. Just those typical type fairs and club type boss. He does have some outing type fairs. It's definitely pretty social and outgoing type album. I'd have to say a lot of cruise out songs, a lot of nightclub and strip club songs, stuff like that. The Southern pride in like a good sense. Texas pride, Atlanta pride, some stuff like that. Definitely reminds me more of Texas than Atlanta. I'd have to say some good concepts to that. But I just would have to say this was in an election year. This came out in 2008 when Obama was running for president and pitches like that. So it just has some Politico type charge stuff. Has a pretty good feature from Ice Cube. Both of them are kind of on their Politico type fare, and there's just a number of songs on here that have some lyrical bars with a message and things like that. Actually, some stuff to say as opposed to just money and clothes and hoes as far as that pitch kind of goes. But it's not like that's a problem. I definitely don't mind just the typical kind of more lackadaisical type subject matter, but it is good to kind of hear some extra instruments. It is kind of good to hear some extra kind of interesting type stuff. So this is a pretty good pitch to kind of get this out of 2008. Real hit album here, just some quality stuff. Wikipedia says that you can download this album for free, which is a pretty interesting pitch. Now, I mean, I kind of want to see more confirmations to wonder if that's actually full blown true, but it says on Wikipedia back in 2010 that Killer Mike said that you could download this album for free, despite the fact that you can purchase it as well. But yeah, there's some basic. Killer Mike was trying to break out throughout the 2000s as far as that pitch kind goes. He was kind of more underground rap as far as that pitch can happen in like the two. He was kind of more underground rap in like the 2000s as far as that pitch can happen, but he did have some good features on here. Shawty Low helps out with the hook. Ice Cube drops the verse on here. Chamillionaire's on here. Messy Marv is on here. 8 Ball and MJG are on here. It's too bad that the UGK and Trade the Truth and Yo Gotti songs weren't on this particular album. That would have been pretty dope to have gotten those, especially UGK circa late 2007. I'd have to say in particular, but it's a good enough concept. This particular album, this album is still a classic. I'd say definitely appreciate the concept. Just great timing, just great affability, great social fare, just great, a lot of stuff about it. We'll go ahead and talk about the single here. There's only one single just because Killer Mike was kind of more underground back in those days, but basically the first single and only single is Two Sides featuring Shawty Low. So this is like a Southern pride kind of UGK like summer blazer. I'd have to say it's just an out and about kind of regular afternoon kind of get food and cruise out type cut. I'd have to say, and it just works well for some summer activity. I'd have to suppose in particular. Just a real malaise type one. If you like the songs out of Bun B, if you like Bun B's 2 Trill album with songs like Damn I'm Cold featuring Lil Wayne as far as that pitch kind of happens, I feel like Two Sides is pretty similar to Damn I'm Cold by Bun B as far as that pitch kind of goes along with it. Just another nice one just in particular. It's too bad that Shawty Low didn't drop a verse on this particular song, but he is at least on the hook. He says God damn on there. Pretty good pitch to kind of get that in particular. It's a nice one. There's some real nice malaise kind of summer energy. Definitely for some of that. I mean, definitely smoke one and like the whip type stuff. Just getting some Burger King, some stuff like that. Just getting some good pitches, some good barbecue type food, some of those type pitches as far as that particular kind of goes. It's a real nice summer heater, just great for like mid-June. Just great for mid-June, July, some of those type pitches. Just a real nice bubbler and boiler as far as that pitch kind of goes along with it. But that's the basic concept about the promotion off this particular album. Killer Mike was still trying to blow up around this particular time. He did eventually. I mean, he's had a number of heralded albums. He's pretty good in like the critic type fare. Most critics tend to like him just because he has more stuff to say as far as that pitch kind of goes along with it. So his albums usually do better critic-wise. Just kind of in the more casual market, he's kind of here and there. I feel like when he's with Outkast or when he's with folks like that, like T.I. or Jeezy, some of those type folks, or Ice Cube, some of those type folks, he makes more noise. But I'd have to say in particular, it's still a pretty good concept to get these songs. So just the casual score may not get a 10 out of 10, but definitely the score of this album is going to get a 10 out of 10 because out of 16 songs on this album, there's 17 songs on this album, but the intro is just like a talking interlude as far as that pitch can go. So there's 16 songs on here, and out of those 16, I wound up recommending to you 13. So the only 3 songs I didn't recommend would just be God in the Building, Can You Buy That, and Goodbye City of Dope. To talk about those songs real quick, God in the Building was just kind of a poor type one. That was just kind of a religious type song, just within that relative pitch. Just kind of poor production, just kind of more homely type song that I just didn't appreciate that much. Goodbye City of Dope was just kind of an out and about type one, like day type fare, but just didn't have that one just didn't have an interesting enough production to really compel me as far as that pitch can happen. And then Can You Buy That was just kind of a day type fare, just kind of some day air and stuff like that. Just kind of a more jivey type one, just for like some mid pace kind of bustle, but just didn't really appreciate the vibe of that one in particular. It was just trying to be like a soulful type one, or a little bit more jivey type one, a little bit more frou frou, but it just didn't pull off the vibes. So kind of feel like something that Cameron or Kanye West would kind of do, but they just pulled it off better, I'd have to say. It's kind of the concept, but there's some definite nice ones on here. 10G is a pretty highlighted one. I'll talk about this one. It's like a chopped and screwed kind of Southern fried heater. I definitely have to say in particular. Reminds me of Rick Ross's Hustlin'. I would definitely have to say it's just a good midday kind of outing blazer. I'd have to say in particular. So there's definitely some chopped and screwed type songs on here. I feel like I want to say that Big Money, Big Cars is one of those, and You See It, some of those type pitches. There are some ones, if you look hard enough, you'll find some ones that just remind me of like Rick Ross's Hustlin', some chopped and screwed type DJ screwed type stuff, pitches like that. Something Paul Wall, Chameleonaire, UGK, some of those type folks would do in particular, just some good stuff. So I like the fact that this is kind of like a dip. I like the fact that this is a dipped in Texas tea type album as far as that particular pitch kind of goes along with it. But 10G's is a real good Southern fried example of that. Big Money, Big Cars is another highlighted one. This has Ice Cube. Big Money, Big Cars has Chameleonaire and Messy Marv on there. Pretty good pitch. It's like a boppish kind of nightclub bounce of a song, I'd have to say. It's like a DJ Screw type jam, I'd have to say in particular. Pretty good pitch for that. It's like a good demon time social fun of a song, I have to say. And this is a pretty good posse gem, I'd have to say. It's a pretty good concept for that. This one has a little bit more of a glossy type beat. I definitely feel like there should have been a second single off this particular album. Would have been a great pitch to have kind of gotten that one in particular. It's a pretty definite boppish type one. Definitely a little good. Nice mid-pace kind of dance balance that this one particularly kind of has. It's a real nice one. Chameleonaire suits this song pretty well, as does Messy Marsh. It's a good pitch to kind of get some of these folks on. This is probably one of the more jivey type ones. This song would definitely be one of the more casual type ones to get in particular. Just has a lot of thrills about it just within that relative pitch. Just feels like a UGK leftover, something that relative type pitch, or even more of like a Chameleonaire type song. But I do like the fact that Killer Mike nailed this one and nailed it so well. Grandma's House is a real highlighted one. This is a song I remember from back in the day. Definitely appreciate this one. It's like a bleary kind of day malaise gem, I'd have to say, with like a super hook, I'd have to say in particular. Pretty great concept for that. It's like a basic kind of Lambert summer energy this song particularly kind of conveys. This is definitely like picnic music and smoke one type music, I'd have to say in particular. Smoke a joint, something like that. Just have some lemonade, some barbecue, some of those type pitches. Just appreciate the summer energy. There's a lot of good summer songs on here that just have some of that lazy kind of summer day type energy. Some other ones like that would be kind of some other ones with like that summer energy would be Super Clean, Super Hard, and then Woke Up This Morning. Those are some other kind of lazy day type pitches as far as that particular kind of goes. But this is just a pretty affable album, I'd have to say in particular. Just some real good energy. Despite the fact that it's not as full blown casual, I still feel like there's some good ones if you are more fluent. If you are more fluent and familiar with hardcore rap, I'd have to say in particular. So that's a good enough concept. Bang is a pretty nice one. This is like a snazzy kind of dance spot for like some after hours jive, I'd have to say in particular. This song should get you energized pretty quickly. I'd have to say just a good real thrills of that one. This one has some get you energized type bounce. I'd have to say it's like a nice electro feel that this song particularly kind of has, and this is just good for some backyard kind of smokers. So it's definitely one just for like a powwow in the backyard, barbecue, some stuff like that. Just smoke a few pitches like that as far as that particular kind of goes. More residential hangout type fare, but this can be some outing type fare also. I'd say just some good concepts. Definitely a lot of this is just some vanilla and kind of good. A lot of this music like Bang is just some good vanilla hole in the wall type outing type music, I'd have to say in particular. Songs like You See, a lot of these songs on here like Bang, You See It, Big Money, Big Cars, If I Can't Eat Right, I'm the Shit, Pressure, I Gotcha even, I'd have to say are just some nice ones to kind of get for like some good vanilla type outing type fare, for definitely for some hole in the wall type activity as far as that pitch kind of goes. Doesn't have to be the most popular club in town, but definitely for some extra type fare, especially around the southern rap, especially around the southern half of the United States, especially. I mean, I don't know if these songs would still be played nowadays, but it'd be some good pitches kind of hear some of these just to kind of spruce things up, to not just have it be strictly 2020s trap and pitches like that. Just to have some good gems in here. I definitely feel like songs like Big Money, Big Cars, 10G's, If I Can't Eat Right, I'm the Shit. Some of these type ones would just be some great pitches to kind of have in particular, just to get some extra kind of activity, just for like some night venues to kind of spruce it up, I'd say. So these are still some ones that knock, even despite the fact that it's been 16 years, I'd have to say. Super Clean, Super Hard's a pretty nice one. This is like a glazed kind of lazy day cruise out type dredge of a song, I'd have to say. This is definitely some midday commerce and simple afternoon errands of a song, I'd have to say in particular. And this is just a real nice one. This is the sort of stuff that UGK and Paul Wall and Trey the Truth type do, and some of those type pitches as far as that particular kind of goes with it. Just some lazy kind of cruise out type tones, stuff like that, just for like a lazy day. It's real affable, just kind of smoke a few type, kind of be high as hell pitches like that, just getting some Popeyes, some of those type pitches, just lazy kind of June, July, August type day as far as that kind of goes. Real easy Texas fried type stuff. Woke Up This Morning's a pretty nice one. It's pretty similar to Super Clean, Super Hard, just more for the ladies as far as that pitch kind of goes. It's like a glimmering kind of warm summer brunch activity of a song I had to say in particular. It's like an early kind of ladies jive of a song. Just pitches like that I had to say. It's just good for some lazy kickback and just smoke one. Once again, I'd have to say about some of these. Just smoke with your girls, some pitches like that. Just some affable type kickback and just lazy kind of summer mornings and brunch type activity as far as that pitch kind of goes. It's getting brunch, breakfast, pitches like that, going to Starbucks, IHOP, Village Inn, some of those type places just in particular. Some good activity just for that particular type fair, especially for 2008. It's just a pretty good pitch to get some of these. It's a different, definitely would have liked a few songs by Rick Ross with this sort of pitch, and Manny Fresh and Lil Wayne and some of those type folks, and Birdman, some of those type folks to kind of get some good tunes like just within that in particular. I'd have to say was a pretty nice one. I'm the Shit's a pretty nice one. This is like a jazzy kind of evening activity of a song I'd have to say in particular. It's like a thrilling kind of demon time living. This is definitely some thrilling kind of demon time living I'd have to say in particular. This is a venue cut with like some good bounce about it, I'd have to say. This is like a venue cut with some good bounce about it, I'd have to say. And this is just good for some quick times, quick living, stuff like that, just within that relative pitch. Just a good night type fair, just within that relative pitch. I mean, there's tons of songs on this particular album, so it's just another highlight type one to kind of get here. There's some good concepts for some of those. Pressure's a pretty nice one. This has Ice Cube on here, and this is a Politico type one. Definitely appreciate this one. This is like an entry kind of kickoff dap gem with like a message that had in particular some good concepts for that circa 2008 an election year. It's like a good pairing with Ice Cube. I'd have to say in particular, pretty good concept to get him on those type vibes. And this is like a food for thought type song with some bounce about it, I'd have to say. So it's definite, pretty good concept for this one, where it's kind of like a mess hall type song, just lobby type music, stuff like that. It's initial kind of dap, just kind of the initial dap, getting stuff like that, the kick off that stuff, just as far as setting off the night and some of those type pitches. I've had to say in particular, pretty good one. Just kind of get too heralded kind of critic heavyweight type rappers on the same song pitches like that. Good concept. I would like to see more. It'd be good to see more songs with Ice Cube and Killer Mike as far as that pitch can go. This is just a pretty heavy hitting one. This is like a song with a message that has lyrics on there, but it's also a pretty good club bounce type song. So it kind of meets you. It's like a meeting of two worlds, because normally style and substance don't always meet, but this is a good concept, one that kind of does. I'd have to say in particular, this has a real kind of frenetic and kind of jittery type beat that works pretty well. Just a nice two-step and kind of dap type gem to have for like entry kind of lobby type music. Can You Hear Me is a pretty nice one. This is like an out and about kind of 2000s hustle cut, I'd have to say. The hook definitely reminds me of T-Pain circa 2007, 2008, some good pitches like that. This is just a warm weather kind of I Made It kind of bop and I Made It type song, just in particular as far as that kind of goes. This is just a very live type song, so I definitely like this one. It's pretty thrilling type one, just an exuberant type song that works pretty well. I'd have to say in particular, just a real kind of breezy and appreciative type hustle cut that has a good vibe about it. Just a pretty good one. This probably could have been a commercial type song as well if it had more promotion, but this is a pretty nice one. Just a good one to go for. You See It's a pretty nice one also. This is another glossy kind of hustle tune, I'd have to say in particular. Pretty nice one for that particular concept. It's like an electric kind of promo pizzazz cut, I'd have to say in particular. Good 2000s type for that sort of stuff. A lot of good promo cuts out of 2008. I'd have to say this is no exception. It's like a looking jazzy kind of getting enjoyment kind of club glitz. This is a looking jazzy getting enjoyment kind of club glitz of a song, I'd have to say in particular. So it's a pretty good concept. We get that one. Pretty nice one, just to kind of have some more affable type outing type fare as far as that pitch can go. It's pretty similar to like Can You Hear Me, just without the T-Pain. You See It's pretty similar to Can You Hear Me, just without the T-Pain type hook, I'd have to say in particular. It's the same type of promo type cut, just same kind of commercial type bounce and step out type fare as far as that glossy type fare kind of has. Just some good commercial type ones to kind of get with some electricity. I'd say some good concepts. So definite nice ones. And I Gotcha is a pretty nice one as well. It's like a good kind of, this is like a promotional single type song. I'd say it's not really an official promotional single, but it feels like one. It's just a basic kind of vanilla lay game down. This is kind of a basic vanilla kind of lay game down type cut. I'd have to say it's definitely some out and about pep, I'd have to say, and just kind of in a good mood, lyrical bars about this song type song, I'd have to say. This song has lyrical bars about it, but it is commercial. I'd say it's a pretty good concept for that. Just kind of one that you might hear, probably could get radio airplay. Just kind of like Eminem's Without Me, something like that, or Eminem's Real Slim Shady, some of those type pitches. It's kind of an introductory, just who I am, lay game down, like Snoop Dogg's Who Am I, some of those type pitches. It's kind of not much of like a lady song or a club type song, but it's kind of a basic kind of one. It's kind of a basic introductory type one, like Get Cut by Cut Calhoun, some of those type folks. Just in particular, just an introductory type one. Just works pretty well for that. It's interesting kind of get that from Killer Mike, just to kind of have him do some basic lay game down type songs, I'd have to say in particular. So that's a pretty nice one, I'd have to say. And then If I Can't Eat Right's another highlighted one. It's like a vintage kind of drummer boy type 2000s trap beat, I'd have to say in particular. It's like a looming kind of nightclub fun of a, this is like a looming kind of nightclub fun of a song, I'd have to say. And this is just a good strip club kind of bopper, I'd have to say. Pretty nice basic kind of strip club outing of a song, I'd have to say. There's definitely some ones that work as like a blend of like strip club and nightclub type music, but this one just feels a little bit more oriented type that. If I Can't Eat Right is this one that feels a little bit more more oriented towards that. I'd have to say in particular, pretty good concept for that. Definitely would have to say, would definitely say some songs for the strip club would be Big Money, Big Cars, If I Can't Eat Right, I'm the Shit, 10 G's, some of those type ones in particular, just some good highlight type ones. Definitely pretty full of nightlife, I'd say. Just really like the night activity that goes along with this particular project. It's just kind of an underappreciated album just within that aspect. If you know Rick Ross and Jeezy's 2008 albums, T.I.'s 2008 albums, some of those type pitches, some of that commercial type fare, Southern rap just within the 2000s type pitch. This is a good highlight type one to kind of look towards just if you know most of that type stuff. Just if you know most of that type stuff and are overtly kind of familiar with it. This is a good secret type one to kind of get towards here where it has some of that commercial type appeal and definitely some good glossy kind of Southern pride and just hip type beats that just work pretty heavily. I'd say it's just an extra good concept and an alternative to get some of that, but still has that appeal. One of the few weaknesses is just the fact that Killer Mike is just not more casual oriented as far as that pitching goes, but it's not like that's real too much of a complaint because this is a classic album. So this album gets a 10 out of 10. The social score I'm going to go ahead and give like a 7.75 because there's some good quality on here. There's definitely some good quality on this particular album. It's just the fact that it's not quite as casual oriented. I'd have to say in particular, there's some good features on here like Ice Cube, Shawty Lo, Chameleonaire, some of those type folks, 8 Ball and MJG. But I just kind of feel like these songs, well, they do have some of that appeal. I feel like for the most part, unless you're into hardcore rap and know rap a little bit more fluently, it's just kind of like who the hell is this type concept. He does have some decent affability about it, but there's really nothing on this particular album that has like full blown kind of commercial bite as far as that pitch kind of goes. This kind of aspect where I think these are just some good background music type songs. Not to say background music like the music is not quality and it's poor and that type of stuff. But I just would have to say it's just kind of more the affability that you have to. I think a lot of these tunes could probably play in like the background and stuff like that, and people would just not know who this particular. A lot of this music could be played in the background and stuff like that, and most people probably wouldn't know who this is in particular. It's just kind of the concept about it. I mean, you might recognize Ice Cube or Chameleonaire, but it's just kind of the concept that it just kind of feels more of like white noise for nightclubs and strip clubs as far as that pitch kind of goes, and summer type music just cruising around in a whip, something like that, I'd say. But it's just kind of the concept about it. But I do feel like this is a quality album. It's just the fact that the casual wise, it's a little bit, it's less so, I'd have to say. It was just kind of a concept about it. But in terms of future, like Killer Mike dropped a hit album that won a Grammy back in 2024. Killer Mike dropped an album in 2023 that won a Grammy in 2024. So that's a pretty good pitch. Killer Mike is riding on a high right now, so it's a pretty good pitch. Hopefully we get some more quality albums and stuff like that. I'm definitely going to have to get some more of these. I do want to get to his 2006 mixtape. That one looks really thrilling and interesting, especially with those charting singles, I'd have to say. So we'll get to some more of these. But yeah, this basically is a classic, maybe not casual wise, but it is a classic in terms of quality songs and just stuff like that. Southern Fried Boilers and nightclub and strip club type songs and summer malaise and stuff like that. And even some work shift, makeshift kind of Politico type. Hey, it's a pretty good pitch to kind of get that stuff. So this is packed to the gills, I'd have to say.